Hi, this is Ryan Lawler. I'm here at Backstage at TechCrunch Disrupt. I'm here with Travis Kalanick, CEO of Uber. You just did a great interview out there.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk about a few things. You're in 17 cities now.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got different services in different cities. Some of them you're doing taxi stuff, some of them you're doing UberX.
Yeah, we do the core Uber Black service in every city.
Right.
But we also have like what we call the low-cost Uber, which could be UberX, which is like, all hybrid, similar service to Black in that it's not a taxi, but it's low-cost version of what we do. So it's not as luxurious. The service levels aren't quite the same.
Right.
But we also do taxi in other cities as well. So we're sort of playing with a couple different low-cost models.
Okay. So how do you decide, or are you just collecting data between those different services?
I mean, it's when you're in 17 cities, you can run experiments.
Right.
Right. You can be a laboratory scientist and conduct experiments on the world and see what happens and see what happens in the different cities. And that's important because if you don't, you could be left in the dust, right? So we want to understand how the different systems work, the pros and cons of each, and different cities might work better for one versus another, right?
Okay.
So if you have a city with tons of taxis that are not utilized and super cheap, why should I go have our partners go buy cars when there's all these cars already out there, right? As an example.
Sure, that makes sense.
But if taxis are super expensive and highly utilized, which would be a complete opposite example in a particular city, then it may not be that interesting.
Okay.
Right.
So when you look at the competition, you talked a lot about this. You've got a lot of low-cost options that are coming out. You've got the ride-sharing services like Sidecar or Lyft. You've got stuff like Cabulous and other startups trying to get in there.
Sure.
Any of them scare you? I mean, is there any of them that you find interesting?
I think that from a there's a model perspective, like there's like the business model perspective, which is Uber is this started at the high end essentially. At least for a lot of people, it feels high end. For some of our customers, it doesn't, but for most, yes. And so the question is, can you create a low-cost Uber that doesn't have quite the same service level, but still brings that utility to the customer, right? Becomes a time arbitrage more than sort of a comfort arbitrage, right? Comfort arbitrage is probably the wrong way to put it, but you get what I'm saying. And so, Uber has to become a low-cost Uber too. Right. We have to be.
Right.
And so, I think that's one of the big areas that we're looking at, but also it's about how do we stamp out Uber and the services that we do in every city, every major city in the world.
Okay. Yeah. So when you look at UberX, or when I look at UberX, I've never had one of those cars pop up as an option on my. Did I just do something wrong?
No,
or?
And this is one of the things that's tricky for a business that's already so big is that if we roll it out to so we've rolled it out to a lot of people, right?
Okay.
But it's really popular.
Right.
And so we need our partners to buy more cars, right? Because we already have so many customers in San Francisco. What, am I going to let non-customers get it before our actual customers get it? No, I have to roll out to our core customers first and then start letting other people get it, right?
Okay.
So let's say you're a core customer and you got it. Well, there's lots of our core customers that want it, and we got to get more cars on the system.
Okay.
When you're a startup that hasn't rolled it out in a city, let's say one of the low-cost ones that are out here, they don't have that problem of having to build up supply if we wanted to get just our existing customers happy with UberX, we'd have to get our partners to buy over 1,000 vehicles.
Okay.
So it's going to take time for us to get there.
Why not just buy and own your own? Is that not
interesting?
Okay,
so how much does 1,000 cars cost?
Right.
So I'm just going to go spend like $20 million on cars and own them.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm just saying these are the things we have to think through.
Right.
And so the point that you get at though is like, hey Travis, I hear you, but give me some frickin' supply.
Right.
Like, because I just want to use it, and we want you to use it. And so we are working our butts off to get the supply systems moving faster and faster so that we can get more and more people using it.
You mentioned the possibility of, on stage, of getting into the ride sharing idea yourself.
Sure.
I mean, how seriously do you think about that?
I mean, that's for real.
Okay.
Right? Because look, if if somebody's out there has a competitive advantage in getting supply online, that's a problem. Like, I'm not just going to let that happen without doing something about it.
Right.
I mean, so we take it seriously.
Okay. Excellent. So, what other products are you thinking about? You've done these experiments with like ice cream or delivering barbecue at South by Southwest or that type of thing. I mean, is delivery something that you think seriously about, or is it just rides right now?
Well, I think our focus is rides.
Okay.
But the way we look at it is we're delivering you a town car.
Okay.
Right? We deliver you a town car in 5 minutes. Well, if I can deliver you a town car in 5 minutes, I can deliver a whole bunch of stuff in 5 minutes. And so we will ultimately go to what I call an urban logistics fabric. But our focus right now is rides.
Okay. Okay. And you're making a lot of money. You said millions per week.
Well, we're paying drivers
Millions per
That's
week.
correct, yeah.
What's your margin on that? Like, how much do you make?
It depends. So we have different products at different margins. So it can range anywhere from 10% to 30%, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. One other thing you mentioned, expansion into Asia.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, in 4 months, you'll have
something going on.
You'll have something going on.
And I've said that from, I think, earlier this year. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Anything else? I mean, in terms of competition, things that you're looking at?
I mean, I think we've covered it.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping
All right,
by,
thank you.
and thanks for doing this.
Awesome.